everyone. Welcome to Soul Chats with myself, Danielle Kudo, the Crystal Healing Mama, and my good friend here, Miss Malika, the Chanting Queen. How are you, my dear?
Oh, I'm good. I'm still figuring out coming back. Here we are on Zoom. Hi, I'm so good. I've had actually two interesting mornings yesterday and today after 3 nights of crazy dreams that I did not write down. But I feel okay tonight. It's a good afternoon. It's a good evening. How are you?
I'm good. Getting into the Christmas festivities here. We're not like crazy consumerists, but we like setting up our Christmas tree and, having the decorations. It's so much fun. We have Christmas dinner planned for Christmas Day. I drove 2 hours, 1 hour each way to go pick up my free range turkey, which I'm excited to eat.
A little time on the road. It's nice to drive sometimes.
It was beautiful. We drove my friend's farm, she is literally like across the forest from us. But because, it's the forest, we have to drive around. So it would be a lot closer if we could just, truck on through. But that's okay. The drive in the forest was freaking gorgeous today. Like the trees were glistening with snow and frost, and it was just I took 1,000 freaking pictures, and then none of them showed the real magic in Mother Nature.
Really
oh my God,
it's hard to capture that, but you captured some amazing pictures of the Northern Lights last night.
So oh my goodness! So I had my monthly. Okay, it was like so fucking divine. My mother-in-law had asked me like last week or something, like, oh, do you guys ever see the Northern Lights here? I'm like, oh, sometimes. Like, we have to like actually like look to see if they're there. Like, you're not gonna know. If you look, maybe they'll be there. Anyways, I had my monthly membership New Moon Circle last night, and it was so fucking magic. And we went like way later than I thought we were going to, because we have more people this month, right? More energy work. And I just like want to fucking get into it. So it was planned for an hour. It ended up being like an hour and 45 minutes. I was like, whatever. Now I just know to account for it longer next time. Anyways, when I got off, I had to put the baby back down to sleep. And then after he was asleep, I just felt this urge. I was like, I just need to look at the stars. And I have this beautiful south-facing window in my bedroom. And like Orion was right there. And like, it was just so beautiful. And I was like, Then I went to go see my husband because he, when he works, he sleeps in the other room because the baby and the toddler kick him. So I was like, oh, I want to look at the stars some more. And I looked out and there were the Northern Lights. I was like, oh, yes, so divine. Like, oh, it was just like for me, it felt like just a confirmation. Like, we got your back.
Signs. There's signs everywhere. We just have to pay attention to them or, be present.
Yes, exactly. Right. And that's the thing. I was being present. I had my amazing circle, and it was just like so much fucking magic. 5 women together in circle. We did some healings and card pulls and a deep meditation, and it was just like, oh, so perfect. So perfect. And then the Northern Lights to top it off. It was amazing. I just love it out here. I'm so excited to hold our festival because the land is just
So I've been yearning for moon circles with other women. I haven't had one in a very long time. So we were talking last week this week about maybe doing something together. I think that may be a possibility. I'm just putting you on the spot right now, but you can think about it.
Doing some moon circles. Yeah, where do we want to do them?
I'm thinking, well, we can discuss.
Secrets, you'll know when we know.
Yeah, it's just it's been an interesting time because I really like to be outside, as you know, and I'm a very outdoorsy person. I like to go for walks and adventures and go in the forest. And I'm okay with not being in the forest because I don't live in the city anymore, and it's much more
Yeah.
pleasant to be in the streets.
Mhm.
It's not the forest, but it's pretty close to nature, agricultural nature anyway. That's not nature, but you know what I mean. It's outside
Yeah,
the
I
city.
know what you mean.
And it's been so cold that it doesn't depress me, but it's just me eager for the nicer weather to come, because I don't mind winter. I love winter. The problem is when it's too cold, the dogs don't want to walk, the kid doesn't want to walk, I don't want to walk.
It's
uh,
so
so
cold. So
it's
cold.
pretty cold, so I'm
It's
sure
supposed to
I'm
get
missing
nicer
all
this
the northern
weekend.
lights.
Sorry, they say we're supposed to get nicer this weekend.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm missing all the northern lights probably because
Right? They
I'm
were
inside.
amazing. They're so amazing. And then like I caught them and then they totally like they were not as vibrant as when I first saw them later last night. So like it was like perfect. Like it was just divine timing. That was all there is to it.
Wonderful. Yes, pull a card. I did not pull any cards today. Just
Neither did I.
feeling
Ooh.
flush.
Speaking of Mother Earth and how fucking gorgeous she is, Earth Star Chakra.
Wow.
Mama Gaia is talking to us. Initiation. What does this have to say? I know I'm so over top. That's okay.
I
Earth
love
Star
it.
Chakra.
I just
My
ordered.
tablet's dead, so I can't see the chat. FYI.
There's yeah, I'm on the chat right now. No one has chatted yet.
That's okay.
Read it.
Okay.
Read away, girlfriend. Read away.
Earth Star Chakra initiation, oneness, collective consciousness, anchoring transmissions from the higher realms, sacred earth knowledge, integration of the divine, working with grid lines. I have to check grid lines because I swear there's fucking something magic here on this line. Anyways. You are standing at a gateway into the unknown with trust in your heart, ancient remembering in your soul, and inner illumination to light the way. You have access to the seat of creation, the spark of existence, and the codes that hold the blueprints of who and what we are. This place is clear and grounded, despite moving through multidimensional realms and able to bridge worlds while functioning in physical reality, working in the ethers regardless. The higher you reach for the divine in the realms of spirit, the more important it is to anchor deeply to the earth. Restore, explore clearing meditations, self-energy work, and put intention into the meaningful parts of your life. Find ways to balance your life. Be aware of the times of days that you are more conducive to different states of consciousness, such as flow, meditation, and productivity. So the themes of this card are integration of spirit and the eternal self, how you balance spiritual and physical reality.
So good. Thank you.
So beautiful.
Can we see that card again?
Heck yes, we can. Oh, so good. Earth Star Chakra. Remember, we have to that's that balance, right? Which is really funny because we set intentions in my new moon circle. And guess what my intention for this coming year is? Balance. So
it's a good one. It's a good
right?
one.
I know. I was saying to my group how I've had a few different, every year I just choose like a one-word intention. I try not to get like too specific because I feel like I just want that energy to flow through for that year. So this year was balance.
It's self-awareness, is following our intuition, like it just englobes so many things, and that's what we're chanting this month, right? Like we're chanting about that balance. So I feel you. I feel like it's way clearer what I need, and because we have that freedom in our life, that we've created, that we've chosen to have in the way we choose to live our life, then I feel like we're able to find that balance faster, more effectively.
It's because we're able to choose it and we're not being forced into any places, right? Like we're choosing our flow. We're determining what that looks like for us, and we're learning how to work with our energy versus against it, right? Because each of us have individual cycles, right? Even today, like I get a lot done more in the morning, like not super early, but when because I'm not an early riser. I'm a night owl myself, I'll be honest. But when I do get up, like that's when I, tidy the kitchen and get the kids ready for breakfast and then have my coffee and do some posts online. And then, like that's where my cycle kind of, whereas the evenings I'm a lot more chill and I like to rest a bit more and snuggle up and watch a movie or something.
It's interesting because I always think of myself as an early bird, which I am, but I think that I'm also a night owl because I just don't sleep many hours. So I go to bed late and I wake up naturally. When I wake up with my alarm, it's really harder. I do work very early. I get 7:25 some days. And when I don't wake up naturally, I find it much harder to function, or if I go to bed just too late, so I have to be like mindful of that balance.
Yeah, no, exactly, right. Anyways, let's look at the card one more time because that's just beautiful, and it's so true. We need to anchor into Mother Nature and Mama Gaia, even more so, right? When we're diving in the nether worlds and dealing with spirit and doing all this upper work, we need to remember the grounding work as well, which is a lot harder during the winter. Let's be real, because we're not out in earthing and on that freaking land. Like, me, like now that we have the acreage, I'm outside like every day in the summer, like outside bare feet playing in the grass with the kids, whereas winter, especially because it's been so cold, like you said, we haven't really gotten out and explored outside so much this winter. A bit here and there. But with the 4 of mine, it's freaking takes me like forever to get them ready, and then they're like, "Oh, we want to go in." And I'm like, "Oh."
Yeah, we do go out every day for us because we have 2 dogs and no acreage. So I know you have 3 dogs, but so we do have to go out every day, but the dogs haven't been really liking.
It's been too cold even for them.
Loba had a good run.
Yeah, we've been bringing our old man Kratos in because it's so cold for them. You said you had some Lemuria questions that you wanted to get to today.
Yeah, well, I've been looking into it, been like getting curious a little bit more. And then I remember I've asked you a bunch of questions. I like to ask questions. And then I decided to write this song, this short little prayer. My songs are no longer structured. It's more repetitive, right? And then I know that you've been like remembering things, right? And I know that you can uncover past lives. So I was wondering if you had like any either lucid dreaming or in some of your clearing, if you've encountered some Lemurian past life.
So honestly, the one that has always come up for me in regards to Lemuria is one I just talked about on my live recently a little bit about like the end of the Lemurian civilization. Honestly, like anytime I think of Lemuria, it brings me right to there. I know like little bits and pieces of information, if you will, about how the society ran and what it was like and like feelings. But honestly, like the little bits that I have picked up, I don't have like a huge, like, I don't know. It feels like because it's so far back, because it's so long ago, it's not as clear as say some of these human past lives that I do for my clients, right? That I'm able to get like, once I find the situation that needs to be unblocked, then I can kind of piece together larger amounts. So I find with my Lemuria life, it's like so in line with spirit and so about my own personal evolution in my life that I'm uncovering like little bits at a time. Like I had mentioned, this deck came for me. So like originally Lemurian crystals, I just like couldn't get enough. So then I found an amazing wholesaler with a mine in Brazil and got a shit ton of Lemurian crystals from the mine directly, right? And I had already uncovered this past life of Lemuria where it was like more to do with my relationship with my husband, because I remember like the part of the life that I remembered was him trying to like hold the barrier and telling me to like go deal with the kids. Like I remember having an older daughter and a baby son, and like yeah, just like the feelings, right? Because when I do past lives, it's like I really tap into those feelings, those emotions, and then from those emotions I can kind of work out what scenario happened, and then from there I can piece that life together a bit more, right? So yeah, so that's all I had for such a long time, was just that situation and those emotions tied with, you know, my husband holding the barrier, me having to leave him, and then leaving my daughter to try and help him. But by the time before I got to him, I knew, you know, we all perished. But then I went to this market. I like decided not to go to markets for a while because, well, it's a pain in the ass getting all the crystals all packed up, and they're like so fucking heavy, and I have to like wrap them all in bubble wrap, and it's just like super fucking pain in the ass. But I was invited to like a spiritual market, so I've decided I'm not doing like regular farmers markets because that's not my niche market. I don't make a whole lot of those markets. So I was invited to this market, and I went, and that's when I found the Beyond Lemuria deck. And from there, just like downloads from the card, and then I saw another woman on YouTube. What's her name? Kayla. I can't remember her name. I'll have to look it up and tag her below. But in her Facebook group, she had a like drawing that she had done, like a light code drawing she had done, and it like sparked something in me. It felt like part of the story, and then there was more to it, and then like the story of how Lemuria fell started to coming into place. Like it felt like that's what the light codes in this specific piece was about, right? And then briefly after that, the woman I got these cards from just intuitively messages me saying, I feel like you have something for me, like you need to send me something. I was like, okay. And immediately this drawing comes up to play. So then I send it to her, and she's like, okay, I have something to send to you. And she sent me a drawing that she had found, or she had potentially done. Okay, which is another light code drawing. And then the minute I looked at this light code drawing, I just got this vision of this like huge white owl like swooping down like ever so gently. Like I wasn't afraid, like it was very, you know, it's like wisdom and guidance and like all that symbology, and it like dropped this fucking golden key, and it's just been like telling me like I'm unlocking the pieces, I'm slowly working through it, right? So these really showed me that Lemuria, we based our society, we had a large crystal was our power source, and we would all focus our energy into this crystal, and that would power everything, right? We were very in the feminine at that point. We were in touch with our knowing and our power, and we lived in the spirit. Like we were more spirit than we were human. Like we weren't human, we weren't that density yet, we were more ethereal at that point. Like we hadn't formed quite the same way yet, so we worked in the spirit completely differently. Anyway, so this crystal, and the vision that I got when I saw this first drawing was like the power was corrupted, right? And from that, the power was corrupted, and immediately thought of like I got this vision of like blood dripping around this power source crystal, like someone who had chosen the evil decided to try and take it for their own personal greed and gain and power and control. and had performed some sort of sacrifice and corrupted the magic. And that is why Lemuria sunk. The power was corrupted. It had been turned to evil. It had flipped. And Mama Gaia was trying to take it back to reset, right? And that's why our magic wouldn't work, to put up our force fields to stop and preserve the society.
Wow. That's pretty cool. Everything you're sharing. I'm just feeling it like in a different world, just listening to you.
And then you sing your song after you had asked all these random songs about Lemuria. And then your song just like set in. So in my life, I had went away from my husband, sent my kids away and gone back to him. But that song just invoked like an inner knowing that at that exact moment in time, we women who were the most in touch with spirit, we were the Shaw womans, we were the priestesses, we got this immediate knowing, like we got a message from Mama Gaia that we were going to be taken. But if we stood in love, we would come back in order to right the wrongs that were done in our society.
So beautiful. It's like that surrender, right? I mean, I don't know if I lived in Lemuria. I have no idea how far my past lives go. I don't have that same, intuition that you have with that, but I just hearing it or researching about it.
Truth is, woman. Do you know what the honest truth is? When you have that feeling and you hear it and it just sounds right, that's because you know. That's your memory surfacing. You have to just start trusting it.
Yeah.
Anything that feels right in your system, it's because it is right. It's because because you are infinite. You have all of the answers. And you, my sister, are pulling back those layers and getting more in touch with that inner voice and that highest self that resides in there. Right? So you're clearing that shit out. You're doing the fucking work. And
it takes so much time to get in touch with that intuition because of, I have to say, societal conventions that are imposed to us, the judgment that come with, and then we need to pass that point, that stepping point and not giving a fuck. And we have to reach that. And I'm mostly there most of the time. It's a journey for sure.
It takes time and patience. Yep. Said it takes time and patience. It's not going to happen in a day. It's that journey. It's getting there every day. You're getting a little bit better. We have to allow the flow because that's what we're meant, right? We need to recognize and trust that we are exactly where we need to be in every given moment, no matter which emotions are surfacing. There is no wrong. There is no right. There just is. There just is. And when we learn to surrender and just accept and trust, it gets closer and closer. Like you don't have as many moments where you're out of sync, right? It just slowly gets better as you learn to trust and give in. Those times always happen, but they become fewer and far between. And then you'll have a span where you're triggering out and whatever and disconnecting a little bit more, and that's okay. It's all about the journey. We're incrementally moving forward at the exact pace that we're meant to be because everything has already happened. We're just living it out on the physical scale now.
Beautifully said, sister.
Thank you. I feel like we still, like, collectively, we still have that fear. Like we lack that trust, as humans. Ooh. I feel like our Lemurian souls, because they were taken, right? Because we were taken by the water. Mama Gaia took us and we're still a little sour towards her, I feel like. We're still fearful and not trusting in Mama Gaia. Our society says that right away. Climate change is out to get us. freaking all the weather is horrible. Cities just work completely against the weather. You know, we don't trust in Mother Nature. We're so far from removed from her. And I feel like they have used that fear and that mistrust. They've used it and like, yeah, they've used it to like a crazy degree now. They've pushed it and they've like programmed it into us even more. She's not safe. Mama Nature is not safe. Danger, 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 danger.
Yeah, what's been imposed to us in repetition through the years. What did I hear today? I read this in a group. I think we're in the same group where when we start removing a little bit of information, it just adds up, and then through the generation, it gets forgotten. So our history's been like history of so many things have been erased, and everything that comes back up, right? It's like it's the forces of nature come in stronger. And that's why a lot of people are ascending right now, because we're all upgrading, we're all transmuting, and yeah, reaching like a deeper truth, basically.
Okay, so I remember a few years ago, okay, this just sparked in my mind. It's like, okay, so I really enjoy science and like the science of things and how things work and physics and quantum physics and all that jazz, okay? Astrology, all the cool stuff. So apparently we are nearing, what star is it? It's a star that we are nearing. So, oh, there's a photon belt, sorry. In the galaxy, apparently, there's a photon belt. So photons, if you know, are pure light energy. Okay, so our universe, the Milky Way, I'm pretty sure, or it's on part of the larger scale. I can't remember the nebula or cluster or whatever the bullshit they call it we're in. Anyways,
atmosphere.
Pardon?
Are the atmosphere or what?
No, way large scale. Like the galaxy that we're in, the Milky Way, is on a larger scale of a galaxy. Have you ever seen the galaxy with like the swirls and there's like dark in between the light, and it's really balanced and it's really beautiful. Anyways, these clusters are apparently all moving in a larger cycle, like counterclockwise, I believe. And there's a photon belt that runs vertical around. So it's every like 2,000 some odd years in darkness. And then however long, I can't remember exact numbers. Sorry, guys, you're going to have to look it up yourselves or we'll find links. But however many thousands of years or hundreds of thousands of years in the light, in the photon belt. And if we follow this, us and humanity, we have been in the darkness for the past, I think it's maybe 12,000 years or something like that. And in the year 2012, I believe, we started to enter the photon belt. And now we are just like inching our way into this mass upgrade of light and consciousness.
That's so cool.
Right? And it's just like, science is showing. The other day, so for a few years, I'm a conspiracy theorist, you know, but people have been talking about the potential pole flip for like years. Have you heard about it? How the poles are going to flip and we're going to have another.
You're so chatty tonight. You're like non-stop chatting. I'm entertained. I am seriously entertained. Go ahead. I'll go get the popcorn.
Ooh, this information. Ooh, that information. And then I'll stop and we can chant.
No, continue. I love it. You're just like on a roll.
I know, they're just coming. They're just coming. Okay. But where was I? I was on poles flipping. Anyways, I just saw some like legit, let's say legit, so like not a conspiracy theory website put out a blog talking about how there's scientific proof now that the poles will be flipping in the near future. There are already like spot disturbances in the magnetosphere that have like weakened and it's like falling out of place. So like it's inevitable. And I'm like, well, anyways, we in Saskatchewan, if you look up, you can look up maps of what it would potentially look like if the water levels were to raise, like if we were to have a pole flip, okay? Because the waters would raise. It would be like another
Christians. There's some Christians website that I've been reading. You know, when somebody tags a link somewhere in a thread on a comment, and you're like, "Ooh, I'm gonna check this link," and then it's apparently it's in the books, which I don't know which book, but it's in the books that at some point we will become a water world, and that if we don't have a boat, we're kind of going to perish. So we should all get a boat.
Though, if you look on this map, like Ontario and a lot of the states and BC and stuff are all going to be underwater. But you know where's not going to be underwater?
The mountains?
Saskatchewan's not going to be underwater. And apparently, after the craziness settles out, the atmosphere will be a lot warmer, more like almost tropical weather. So just saying.
Woo-hoo. Well, we might not be here for that, but our ancestors or future souls life future lives.
It's supposed to, the science says that it should be happening by 2025, they say, apparently.
Okay, well then we're going to still be alive and we're going to be living it, and I'm in for the whole thing. After the 3 years we just got, I can do anything now. Like I've become invincible. I got my rainbow
I love it.
Sweater.
Care Bears. I love Care Bears, right? Standing in our heart space. That's the thing. We can't allow these things to put us in that fear mode because there's no use. This is all about trusting Mama Gaia. So trust your intuition. Follow those pulls. Be where you specifically are meant to be. Right? And don't fear because we're divinely guided and protected. My mother-in-law gave me this for Christmas, so I'm wearing it today. The little Nomies.
So you did Christmas a little early then.
Yeah.
That's okay. Us too. Well, I don't even have, like, I've been without a kid.
Hubby just got off work today and he worked all week and now he's on holidays. So we're Christmas in today and like Christmas Eve tomorrow, and then we'll have dinner on Christmas Day.
Nice.
With my pasture-raised turkey that I went to drive to.
Nice. I love it. Do you want to chant?
Yes. Yes, let's chant.
Okay, so how about the preserver of the universe? I've been feeling it since you started talking about Mama Gaia and Mama Earth. I've been feeling Vishnu, Vishnu, Vishnu.
Oh, then let's listen to that intuitive call.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's funny because my Lemuria or prayer for Lemuria that I wrote, it's very simple, but it's, it's perfect for repetition. But it came, I was like messaging you. And I was like, oh, I got a song coming through. Bye. Bye. And I just went, and then I played with it more yesterday. It was really nice. Okay, so let's chant Om Namo Narayanaya and Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So both are Vishnu, preserver of the universe, resting place for all living beings, and a liberating mantra for attaining spiritual freedom, and which is aware of the oneness of all things. There you go. Oops. I've been playing a little bit in drop D. It's gonna sound better now. Apologies. Hmm. Feels good, hey? Hits the
So
spot.
good. Haven't
Just
chatted in
hits the
a while,
spot.
right? It does just hit the spot. Like,
Hmm.
the other night, actually, it was super cute. I was putting my kids to bed and I was watching your interview with Chris on YouTube. And my daughter saw it and she's like, can you put on some Malika chanting before bed? We put on some chanting. What did we do? We did Mane Petbeom was one we did. Ooh, and Sri Ram, I think. So, or Sitaram.
My kid is kind of sometimes yes, sometimes no. He's been, he's been through my whole process of me growing into this, leader of chant. I've been doing this for so many years, but there's no way I was ready then to do the kind of work that I do now. So he saw me, he witnessed growing to it, but he's also been it's starting to feedback if you want to mute yourself. um, I feel like it's nice to see him see this as something normal. That's like his normal. Oh yeah, at my mom's, we chant and I jam super loud. He jams on his piano, and he puts like the beats, and he just sings with the beats. So like it's just so cool. Sometimes I record him in the background, but it's just really nice to see this feeling like normal for him, that I could offer this kind of like environment to grow in. So not only it's good for him and his clearing and his, intuition, because when we do that kind of work, it ripples around us, but also being like in constant frequency healing with the 432. I have the tuning forks also that I do over him. Sometimes he doesn't want me to do it, but like, or he doesn't want to sit still. So let's say we're dancing, because we still have those dance parties. I take them and then I just do it around us, and he appreciates it. So I do both sides, and then I always do front, and I try to do the top of the head. And then I switch my forks and I come with another fork. Oh, I just love that kind of intuition that he's developing with, like, there's something that's going on. There's something blocked. So let's work. Do you want to go smudge? Do you want to dance? I offer him some ways to clear that energy, because we know it. When we're out of balance, we need to clear it up. What do you got there in your hands?
Black tech tape. She's been one of my go-tos lately. I wore her for a long time, so I just intuitively wear my jewelry. If it just pops out at me and it's like, oh, look at me, I'm like, ooh, I'll use you today, right? But I had been wearing my Orgonite forever, but then my chain keeps breaking, so I put it on my selenite phone charging plate. It needs to be cleared out a little bit, I think. But I had been wearing my Tektite for days, and she needed a break, and I don't have anything else on. But Tektite wanted to play. Just when you were saying that about Koa and how he's chanting and singing, and like you're able to communicate about your needs and your spirituality, I just feel like he has that's such an open throat chakra, and I feel like that's really rare. We're taught in this life not to speak our truth. That's super fucking powerful that he has that, right? Like, we also try to have a household where we can speak our truth and talk about our emotions and discuss with each other, and like we don't like hide behind our feelings or anything. If we're feeling something, we feel it, and we express it, and we work through it, right? And I'm just like, I'm so happy for our kids and the children of those people who are, doing the work themselves. When we're doing that work ourselves, we're able to then like look at our circumstances in our life and look at the circumstances and the things that we're doing to our children and see how that could potentially affect them down the road. And then we're able to like course correct, even if we're going around the wrong road on something, like we notice it and we acknowledge it, and then we choose to do better by them for it. Right? And I fucking love it. I love it. Oh, you're muted. I can't hear you.
Oh my god.
I can't hear you.
We've got the Sacred Women Festival chat going on. Gypsy Mama and Onyx.
Represent
here. Yeah.
Thanks, ladies.
You know, I've got my rose quartz gigantic piece, and I have my rose quartz, and you know, there's something that came up to me while I was intuitively taking what I needed as well, is that, well, yeah, you do have to mute though, because when I do speak, there's an echo going on. Thank you. There's like this, like accepting to just lose my control for a bit. Like I did this morning. I was crying a lot. Yesterday I was crying a lot too. It just feels, and my friend here into town, she's like, are you okay? It doesn't look like it's your week. And I was like, I don't think it is, but it's more like the last few days, maybe the last couple of days. It's not even the whole day. It's just like moments in my day where, especially in the morning, where things are just not working out. And sometimes you just have to release and cry. And I think that this like needing to accept that I can just, you know, lose it a little bit, not lose it like aggressively or anything at all, just like letting it out. And that again, I feel like it might just be that masculine, divine masculine energy within me was like holding, yeah, a little bit, and then just like whoo, flowing. And I did flow, and I did find my keys. I'm sparing you the story.
That was the universe fucking with you 100%.
Although last time I told a TikTok story of craziness Tuesday where I stalled, it was really popular and people commented a lot. So maybe I should tell my keys story on my TikTok. Who knows? It's good for my algorithm. But yeah, stepping into that, like away from that masculine, and it is the month, like the theme in my work, in my membership, it is to work through that balance of the feminine and masculine, yin and yang, light and dark, embracing both. And yeah, it flew. And then I just worked shit tons on my website after that today. I was super like flowing productive. So at the end of the day, we just have to move through those emotions, but accept them. So I think that's why I have this. It's like, I just want to love myself with all the faces and I received also my Metatron, is that it? Merkaba, little star, which is green adventure. I just received it today. So, and then there's also a star, which is a rose quartz that I want to gift Koa that I've received today. So I feel like, oh, it's all about the heart, right? Yeah. Let's see the chat. Onyx says her muffins are baking.
Yum, where are my muffins? Me muffins.
Oh, yay. Gypsy Mama's finished some sessions. Yeah, she says, sounds like a lot of winter solstice energy. Well, that's the thing. When we start tuning in more with our intuition, with our senses, with the divine, with Mama Gaia, with everything, we're just like exposing ourselves to feeling more.
I think it's more than that. I think it's more than that. I think we naturally are following these cycles and having, like, right now is the darkest night of the year. I think this is all about darkness, especially with the new moon. So that's bringing up those heavy, dark emotions right now. And I think we always flow with the cycles of the lunar, like the lunar cycle and the overall cycles of the earth and everything. We naturally flow like that. It's only when we start recognizing it and noticing and paying attention, and then we're like, oh yeah, shit, like that solstice, that hit me hard, or like that full moon, that was intense, right? I think it's a natural thing that occurs, and it's just, we're just tapping into the understanding and the knowing, and we're recognizing it. Whereas I think everybody else is going through this shit at the same time as we are too, but they're not recognizing it.
But that's the thing. When we deepen that intuition, we can be more receptive. Sometimes now I hear some of my friends, or I read their comments, the ones I follow anyway on social media, and I'm like, well, it's obvious that you need to unblock your throat chakra. Well, it's obvious that your sacral is blocked. Well, you know what I mean? Like, I don't feel I had that kind of intuition before, but now I can be blunt sometimes when somebody complains about the same thing over and over again. It's like, well, have you tried looking into what it means? Or like, yeah, let's go ahead.
Everything in our life has a reason, right? So once we start diving down, especially like limiting beliefs and all these things, anytime that you're not like in love flow, there's something that can be worked through. What are you like, and especially the stories that we tell ourselves, right? Especially about like money is a big one, about money and time and worth and all these things, these stories that we're telling ourselves. And the thing is, like, you and I have these stories too, but we recognize these stories, we realize and say that it's no longer relevant for us, and we choose to act from a different part of ourselves, right? We choose to jump past that fear. We're not coming from that fear. We choose to come back to love, but it's only because we're recognizing that we're not in love. So we know that there's something wrong, right?
Something's missing. Something's missing. That happens so much. And we have to just be honest with ourselves often. Just be truthful. And sometimes we need friends or coaches calling you out.
Exactly. Especially like when you first start, like, you can't see it. And I know, like, if I say something to you that you notice is a blockage in me, you'll point it out. And rather than, like, some people would get like mad butthurt and then be all sad and depressed and get like super like shame feeling about it. But like, what's the point of that? Just recognize it, be like, oh yeah, actually maybe I do that. Why do I do that? And how can I change that?
It's the ego often, but also the not being ready to go there. Because, well, it goes with the ego, I guess, but it's not the right time. So it's for us to find that compassion and accept people for where they're at. And I think that's freaking hard. So I just want to kick their butt sometimes and go like, come on, do it, do your work. You know it, you'd be more happy. You know it would be flowing more.
No. With so much love, though. It's because we see people's potential and we know that they're just beating themselves up. And when they're ready to get past that and stop the self-sabotage and stop holding themselves back because of all these limiting beliefs, they're going to fucking be fucking fire, right?
I feel like sometimes we're holding to our stories so much that it's keeping us like away from the potential of what we could become. And I think that it's really hard to let go of those stories. It takes a lot of work, consistency, accountability, digging in.
I swear we have to just learn to love ourselves, because when you go into that guilt and shame and you judge yourself for your actions, we need to recognize that all your actions are okay. If they're not perfect, if that's not what you thought you should be like. It's just that judgment that like spins it all around, and then the judgment turns into shame, guilt, and nobody wants to admit that they're shameful. No one wants to admit that they feel like shit about themselves because they're already so broken. They don't have that self-love, so they just think that everybody else, like, they're expecting everybody else to think that they're shit too, you know? So it's like, it's a hard thing to start recognizing that you have flaws. Guess what? That's okay. Nobody's perfect. We all have our own shit, right? So I feel like I need to pull one more card, and then we'll probably say goodbye. Hi, Ava.
Sounds
My
good.
littles have been watching Christmas movies with Daddy because Daddy is now off on holiday. Hi, Ava. She's gonna come sit up behind me. Only one card. Those cards. Should I listen to Ava? I should listen to Ava. Divine Feminine cards. She said, use these cards. I try and listen to my children because their intuition is better than mine. I'm just aware of it. They just kind of do it. So we want a Divine Feminine card, apparently. Fitting for so many Divine Feminines in the chat. What card do we need right now?
Hello,
Kuan
monkey.
Yin.
Hello, monkey. Is it a
Right.
monkey? I think it's a monkey.
Hi, Jesus. Hi.
Hi, monkey.
Hi. She is my little monkey. Kuan Yin, the goddess of compassion. I recognize suffering in order to release it. Curiosity breeds compassion. I feel like this is a good one for us right now.
It's perfect. We were just talking about self-compassion and just loving ourselves more. It's perfect.
Exactly. Where are you, Kuan Yin? Oh, there you are. 104. Sorry, I don't use this deck much, so it takes me a bit longer to find them. 104. So who she is. Kuan Yin represents the presence that listens deeply to our prayers spoken from the heart. Kuan Yin or Kuan Yin is an incarnation of Avalokitesvara, the Bodhisattva of compassion. She is known as what is it?
Avalokiteshvara.
Yeah, that. I tried. I failed miserably. That's okay.
Oh, mani padme hum.
She is known as the goddess of mercy. Can you be quiet, please, Ava? And is considered to be the most beloved Buddhist deity. Sorry, guys. You need to be quiet if you're going to sit there, please. I'm reading. Her name translates in Chinese as the one who perceives the cries of the world. She is often compared to the Virgin Mary in Christianity because she intercedes on behalf of those who call out to her with humility and sincerity. Scholars believe that the Buddhist monk, what is it? Kumarajiva?
Avalokiteshvara?
No, different one. Kumarajiva Kumarajiva was the first to refer to the female form of Kuan Yin in his China's translation of the Lotus Sutra in 406 CE. She's associated with the number 33 because she appears 33 times in the sacred text. The Lotus Sutra reveals that the mudra most often associated with Kuan Yin is the Yoni mudra. Her cupped hands symbolize the womb to remind us that we all enter this world through the female form. The Buddhist saint Miao Shan is believed to have been an incarnation of Kuan Yin. Kuan Yin was originally worshipped as a male deity, but at some point during the Northern Sung dynasty, Kuan Yin began to be worshipped as a female. Miao Shan is believed to be the cause of this transformation. The legends of Miao Shan contain beautiful accounts of her saving sailors from drowning in rough seas. Kuan Yin is associated with jade because of its protective properties. All heart stuff, right? In this case, it's said to help with going underwater, both literally and figuratively, drowning in the ocean or in the flood of emotions. You gonna go see your daddy? I'm going to find daddy. Okay, you go. When your soul selects her card, Kuan Yin is about deep medicine that comes simply from being willing to bear witness to somebody else's pain. To really listen, we have to move from the ego to the soul so that the story we are listening to doesn't become about us or trigger us. This also applies to the moments when we are listening to the story we tell ourselves about who we are. We are often far harsher and less forgiving to ourselves than we would ever be to someone else. Kuan Yin suggests that we simply listen simply with curiosity. Curiosity allows us to detach from needing to take the suffering of someone we love personally. Curiosity is a door that leads to compassion. It frees us from feeling as though we have to react to what we hear or defend and explain our part in their suffering. We can just perceive the pain that they are in, or we can finally hear our own cries of despair and not seek to judge or justify them.
Baby shark. Baby shark.
Baby shark toy starts playing. Kuan Yin is the powerful energy of giving witness to our own or to someone else's suffering. Often just a calm, abiding presence of compassion is all that is needed to transform that suffering into clear light. And the soil voice meditation is, what pain or suffering can I listen to now with curiosity, right? What in myself can I look at with curiosity rather than disdain and judgment? How can I look at that part of myself through a different lens versus being so judgmental and hateful towards yourself, right? I really like that one. That's a good one. Sorry,
It embodies really well what we were discussing. Like, I feel like it's perfect. And then with the water, right? And then Lemuria, and then me, all those tears, washing, clearing. Yeah. And this is for me, like, I don't celebrate Christmas. I haven't for years. I will if I have my son, but I don't mind. He's got family coming from out of province. You know, he's going to have a great time. And for me, it's my time to relax and slow down. And it's been really important that I take that time for balance. You were talking at the beginning about that, about that's your word for, that's your word for the new year, to find that balance. And for me, it's just, this is a constant reminder of how it is important. Yeah.
Yes, all of it. Thank you so much, Malika, for coming and chatting with me this evening. I'm going to be taking a little break for the holidays now. I'll post a little bit here and there, like probably one post a day, but I'm going to take my family time now. Right? So I'm excited for that. Hubby's off work now, so we get to spend our family time, do some cool stuff. I want to play with his resin and make organite. My craftiness is like, yes, let's do this.
You know, I'm gonna be getting one.
Daddy, I like your Christmas.
We'll eventually be doing custom stuff. Oh, thank you.
What's this guy?
Well, happy holidays, happy celebration.
Yes,
family.
I'm on YouTube right now.
We'll see you online very soon and in person in a couple of months.
Yes, maybe when it warms up like a titch.
Maybe.
We'll see. We'll see. It is Saskatchewan after all. Anyways, I'm sending you all so much love. Thanks for joining us today here. Thank you, Gypsy Mama, my Tanya, and Onyx for joining us in the chat. And I hope everyone has a beautiful, merry, happy Christmas, holidays, whatever it is you want to call it. Remember to slow the fuck down and love yourself. Give yourself grace, and don't allow the speed of all the love. Don't allow the speed of other people's craziness right now affect you. Stay centered, stay grounded into Mama Earth, right? Thank you, Malika, for joining us.
Danielle. Thank you, everyone.